Tea Biz Podcast delivers tea news that you need to know. A recap of the week's major headlines with commentary and cultural trends hosted by Dan Bolton. It is the voice of origin for tea professionals and enthusiasts worldwide.
Tea nourishes and inspires. It is an ancient plant-based medicine that simultaneously heals and energizes the body as it soothes the mind. Making fine tea is a blend of artistry and craftsmanship. The $200 billion tea trade is fundamentally local, yet exerts global influence, employing millions to enhance the well-being of all. Hello, everyone. Here are this week's headlines. The United Nations plans a tea power promotion for younger generations. China reports tea exports declined in 2023, and tea advice to take with a grain of salt. Plus, the Toronto Tea Festival is celebrating its 10th anniversary this weekend. The Tea Guild of Canada and Tao Tea Leaf are co-founders and sponsors of the event. Organizers expect a big crowd to attend educational presentations, cultural demonstrations, and competitions, and there will be products on display from 50 tea vendors, large and small. Rita Fong helped organize the inaugural event. She is the director and manages social media and marketing for what is now the largest tea festival in Canada. She joins us on the Tea Biz podcast this week to share insights on this event's staying power and growing popularity. More in a minute, but first, this important message.
What makes a perfect cup of Ceylon tea? The perfect cup is from the tea businesses that ensure the protection of all the children living within their tea estates. We salute Kailani Valley, Talawakili, Bogawanthalawa, Harana, and Elliptia Tea Estates. Support Save the Children, Sri Lanka.
The Food and Agricultural Organization's Intergovernmental Group on Tea will launch a global health-focused promotional campaign targeting younger consumers looking for an alternative to sugary drinks. Quote, "There has been a global increase in consumer awareness of a healthy lifestyle, and dietary habits are changing in response to known linkages between diet and health. However, many campaigns are focused on health benefits that address the concerns of older generations," end quote, the United Nations Agency on Tea said in a background paper on tea and health, slated for discussion at the 25th session of FAO-IGG. H.A. Jalan, former president of the Tea Association of India, said, quote, "In current times, health and wellness have become central factors in consumer choices, offering a unique opportunity for the tea industry to tap into new consumer markets, especially among Generations Z and Millennials," end quote. Tea-Biz correspondent Rupak Goswami writes that the gathering provides a forum for intergovernmental consultation and exchange on trends in production, consumption, trade, and the price of tea, including a regular appraisal of the global market situation and short-term outlook. Quote, "The world market for tea continues to be an oversupply as yields per hectare have risen without a matching increase in global demand. Critically, the next generation of consumers has a wide range of beverages to choose from, and tea must compete for a share of throat," end quote, according to IGG. This is the first time IGG has met in Assam, a tea-growing region that contributes around 12% of the world's tea. The three-day session begins on January 31st and is preceded by Baltic 2024, a celebration of Assam's bicentenary of commercial tea production. Business Insight, quote, "Tea power is the perfect pitch for younger generations looking to increase their performance and energy levels while staying healthy. With carefully crafted messaging, we can create a powerful campaign that will inspire and encourage young people to make tea a part of their lifestyle," end quote, writes IGG. Dietary habits are changing in response to known linkages between diet and health, and extensive research demonstrates the health benefits of tea. The value of Chinese tea exports fell by 16.3% to $1.74 billion year over year in 2023, compared to $2.1 billion in sales recorded in 2022, according to China Customs. The decline is the second consecutive annual drop in exports by value. Export volume also declined by 2% to 367.5 million kilos. Export value in 2022 fell by 9.6% year over year compared to 2021. Green tea experienced the biggest drop in value, declining from $1.4 billion in 2022 to $1.2 billion in 2023. In 2022, China reported 26.5% of the global total by value, according to UN Comtrade. Sri Lanka, the number 2 producer by value, saw export value increase to $1.31 billion on lower volume of tea than in 2022, according to the Sri Lanka Tea Board. Exports earned $1.26 billion in 2022, reversing declines in 2020 and 2021. Sri Lanka tea shipments account for 15.7% of global exports by value in 2022. Kenya tea exports from January through November were valued at $1.05 billion and are likely to surpass the 2022 total of $1.4 billion, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. India ranked 4th in global tea exports in 2022, but has yet to report full-year statistics. India tea exports from January through October were down 1.7% to 182 million kilos. Export value for April through October was also down by 3.6% to $590 million, compared to $620 million during the same period in 2022. Export volume for the full year is likely to be around 200 million kilos, according to the Indian Tea Exporters Association. Live Mint reports that rating agency CRISIL expects the Indian tea industry to witness an 8% decline in revenue this fiscal year. Professor of Chemistry Michelle Francl caused an uproar this week with the publication Wednesday of her book, Steeped: The Chemistry of Tea. The text advises tea drinkers to add a pinch of salt to overbrewed tea, a recommendation found in 8th century manuscripts from China. She reports that salt ions block the bitter receptors in your mouth, resulting in a tea that tastes less bitter. The tongue-in-cheek response in media that quoted aghast British culinary and beverage experts drew the attention of the U.S. Embassy in the UK. Quote, American chemist inspires a moment of diplomatic levity with controversial brewing suggestions, end quote, reads a headline in The Guardian, while Political writes, U.S. pledges support for UK after Egghead suggests putting salt in tea. A satirical release said her findings regarding, quote, the elixir of camaraderie, a sacred bond that unites our nations, end quote, could jeopardize relations, placing diplomacy in, quote, hot water. The ambassador cannot, quote, stand idly by as such an outrageous proposal threatens the very foundation of our special relationship, reads the release. The embassy declared that adding salt is not official U.S. policy, quote, and never will be, and jokingly chastised Francl, whose advice in the text is sound. Francl, who teaches chemistry at Bryn Mawr, recommends loose-leaf tea. Those seeking convenience will find a large tea bag allows better infusion than a small one. Dunking reduces the release of tannins, she advises, lending scientific backing to the adage, brew, don't stew. Remove the lid from a takeaway cup to enjoy the aroma, she says, and add a squirt of lemon juice to disperse tea scum in the cup. Francel called for scalding a stout mug before pouring from the pot, as the warmth increases the amount of caffeine and antioxidants released. She suggests tea drinkers should not be miffy. That's milk in first. Milk should be warm before it is added to the tea to prevent curdling. Francel, who analyzed research papers, ancient texts, and several books on the topic, wrote her book to educate others on how to make a better-tasting tea. She observed with a scolding, quote, "I've had better cups of tea in gas stations in Ireland than very nice restaurants in the U.S., end quote, she told Forbes. Next, Arvinda Anantharman in Bengaluru reports on this week's India Tea News.
India Tea News for the week ending 26 January 2024. At the 36th General Meeting of the Assam branch of the Tea Association of India, Chairman U.K. Singh reiterated the sustainability concerns of the Indian tea industry. The association called for an aggressive marketing campaign and to declare tea as a national drink to support the industry. It discussed the need for short-term supply restrictions and long-term demand creation. Growers battled for a minimum support price to support livelihoods. Ruhul Amin, Assistant High Commissioner, Bangladesh, was the chief guest, and Indo-Bangladesh trade challenges were also discussed. Neighboring Tripura is set to get an auction center. The northeastern state of Tripura is all set to get its auction center soon. The state borders Assam and has 60 tea estates that produce 9 million kilos of tea annually. Currently, the tea is sold via Guwahati and Kolkata auction centers. Tea is a major cash crop for the state, and producers have been seeking an auction center for some time now. They've also sought for access to the Sri Mangal auction center in neighboring Bangladesh.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hello, I'm Bogdan, a passionate tea drinker and the inventor of the ultimate tea machine, the Brew Maker 1. Preparation is key to making fine tea. Sequential steepings deliver the best taste possible and unlock the true value of whole leaf teas and botanicals. Brew automates that process without using any pots or capsules. This simple-to-operate, smartphone-controlled device stores steeping profiles to consistently make great tea at the push of a button. Brew also reduces time, waste, and energy. That's because I engineered the brew to remember control settings for temperature, brewing time, and quantity. Using my patented process lets you stack steep simply and conveniently.
The Toronto Tea Festival is celebrating its 10th anniversary this weekend. The Tea Guild of Canada and Tao Tea Leaf are co-founders and sponsors of the event. Organizers expect a big crowd to attend educational presentations, cultural demonstrations, competitions, and there will be products on display from 50 tea vendors, large and small. Rita Fong helped organize the inaugural event as a director and social media manager of what is now the largest tea festival in Canada. She joins us on the Tea Biz podcast to share insights on this event's staying power and growing popularity. Rita Fong is among the first Canadians to graduate from the George Brown College Certified Tea Sommelier program. She is a member of the Tea Guild of Canada. She's a seasoned social media marketer, a tea consultant with import-export expertise, a freelance writer, and a former blogger. She tirelessly promotes the festival, has long influenced the educational program, and recruits speakers. She works full-time in financial services. Rita, it's just a delight to have you join me on the Tea Biz podcast this week. I'm so excited to be going to the festival and seeing you for the first time in several years. And all of my good friends in Canada attend these festivals and sponsor them.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me and the Toronto Tea Festival to come on board and have a little chat. And I'm so excited to be able to see you again soon. And it's been so long. That's too long.
I remember when the show started, I was one of the early exhibitors with our Tea Journey magazine. Tell me, what is behind the staying power? What's the formula involved in making this such a good show?
I think a lot of it has to do with the resilience is a big thing, and it is grinding, but it's so rewarding. The core group that's in the planning committee are true tea lovers. The festival first started with Tao Tea Leaf and the Tea Guild of Canada, tea professionals from both sides, noticing that there's a lack of an event such as this for tea lovers and for the public. In Toronto, a few people from each join up together, and then and that's the main core group that's still around now. I'm one of the ones from the original. It's almost like a baby. It's a lot. It is a lot of work, and like my husband would say, like, "What? You're not getting paid? What is this?" I have a day job in finance, but tea has always been like a nice chance to calm down, a little reprieve, and a little chance of bliss in the madness of the ups and downs, stock markets, and all that. So I've developed really good friendships in the tea world. I just find that tea people are just so nice. It's because with tea, you can make it your own. You're learning about different cultures. You're opening up your mind to different things. And then that kind of cuts through prejudices and stereotypes, and then just kind of my own little way of trying to make the world a little bit better. And I think the planning committee, they feel that, we have to do something because Tao Tea Leaf is a business. And so from there, and they're thinking of, how to promote business, how to help other businesses. And then for the Tea Guild, part of our mandate is to educate the public about tea and help fellow tea students and tea sommeliers to nurture and to build events and a chance to just keep learning and keep growing. Because tea it's like an endless, it's like you can never know enough about tea. So it constantly keeps growing, as you know.
In the past decade, the number of vendors exhibiting at the show has nearly doubled. Canada's specialty tea segment is prominent, generating revenue that rivals commodity suppliers. Will you characterize the type of vendors who benefit from exhibiting?
The first festival, I think we had about 30 vendors. Now we're at close to 50, I think 49, 50, last checked. And in the beginning, it was a lot of just really local tea shop. And then as we grew, more people started coming, and a lot of the people that actually attended ended up starting businesses themselves, like Tea Horse. I don't know if you must have heard of Tea Horse. It's an Indigenous woman that's the head of their company. So they were actually attendees when they first came. And then a couple of years later, then they decided to be a vendor. And then they came, and then shortly after that, then they started collaborating with bigger companies like David's Tea, and then Foggy River Farm. In 2020, came to attend the festival to just check out, what it's all about. A lot of their product is herbals, and then this year they are actually they're coming aboard as a vendor themselves. And part of their what they're using as promotion on social media is showing pictures of themselves as attendees at the festival back in 2020. So a lot of vendors are not necessarily huge, multi-million-dollar companies. A lot of them are smaller to medium, and a lot of them are family companies. They're like basically a family business. One of my focus, besides helping with organizing and trying to find speakers or new companies, is social media. So I am the social media director and marketing director as well too. It's very, very tight-knit little community. We help each other with the social media. So you're leveraging off each other. You're help pushing each other. So you do better, everybody else does better. So it makes the whole community grow together.
I love that. And I think that's an essential way of marketing because they just don't have big budgets. So let's talk a little bit about who comes to the show and why they benefit.
The type of people that usually come are newbies, people that aren't familiar with tea too much, besides like maybe a Tetley tea bag, all the way to like poor connoisseurs that have like their own pomodoro, and also industry expert types too that also come. We have a little bit of everything for everyone. A lot of times, especially because being a tea sommelier, I'm always looking to learn something new and keep growing. When we're looking at speakers or speakers applications, I usually look for like something that's a little more unique or a little more cutting edge.
How many do you anticipate for the 2-day show?
We're hoping for 30,000 again. That would be a good healthy amount, and that's what we would be able to support in the venue that we are at. I think this first year we made it to 1,000, and now we're the last festival we were at 3,000. So we're like busting out of the into the library sometimes. So we may need to look for new location soon.
What do you think attracts people to the show?
I think because we do have a great program. It's very well mixed. It's not very only one-sided or only one culture. So it's and because Toronto is such a cosmopolitan, well-mixed city, so then we're trying to get a little bit of everything so that there's something for everyone. A lot of times when I go traveling to industry shows or checking out other tea festivals, I kind of act like an ambassador for our Toronto Tea Festival. I'm making friends and building a network. I'm slowly, surely, and then they may not come right away, but a few years later, then they come. For example, like Nicole, Tea for Me, Please, Nicole Wilson. I've met her during the early blogging years when I used to blog, and I was part of the Bloggers Roundtable. So then that's where I met her, and then just kept in touch online on like Instagram or Facebook, and it comes on her blog and whatnot. And every year I've been like, you should come. And then this year she's going to be one of our speakers.
I see many young people at your show, and that's encouraging to me because they're the group currently experimenting with tea. Unlike their parents, they're likely to drink both coffee and tea. They don't see one as exclusive. They favor herbals and a broad range of infusions. So social outreach directed at young tea drinkers has been a big part of why you've been successful.
I would say so. February 2020, we had our show, and then boom, all Canada was like, no more public stuff, no more anything. During the 2 years that we were not able to get back up yet, because last year was only our first show back in person. So during the hiatus, I would constantly still keep up with the social media. I could see, people are starting to explore more tea as well too, because you're locked down. People are starting to look for something healthier to drink during the pandemic, and then tea was like a perfect solution. And tea is something that people was able to enjoy, and then even share, like do a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, and then you're sharing your tea and having a virtual tea session with another person. So, but there's only so much that virtual can do to satisfy a human being. Human being needs the actual contact. So there was hunger. So then by the time we were able to open up again, it was perfect timing for us to have the show.
Rita, a final word?
If your listeners are within the Greater Toronto area, there are still tickets available online and at the door. So please come. It's our 10th year. We've got some special gifts that's going to be in the swag bag for our 10th anniversary. We've got lots of very, very interesting vendors. There's 6 actually from the original festival that will have some sort of badge or something by their booth so people can recognize them. There's lots of speakers, a wide variety of topics as well. There's even tea and yoga and meditation kind of talk, tea and wine. Pastor Mansky, Kevin Gascoigne will be there. He's going to be doing some tastings of from the Tea Studio tea, as well as Tea 101. Linda Gaylard will be doing a talk on traditions Just come and then it'll be lots of fun. You're going to drink until you drop.
I plan to attend on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm giving away free Tea Journey subscriptions to the first 100 tea lovers who greet me by name at the show. I'll see you in Toronto at the Toronto Reference Library, 789 Yonge Street. To purchase tickets in advance, see the Tea Biz blog or visit teafestivaltoronto.com. Intrigued by what you heard in today's podcast? Would you like to learn more from our global network of Tea Biz journalists and tea experts? Remember to visit the Tea Biz website for more comprehensive coverage. That's www.tea-biz.com. Thanks for listening. Farewell till next week.
Produced by Adavita Studios. Connect your voice to the world.